Hello and welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, India's largest platform for entrepreneurs. If you've got any questions about anything related to your entrepreneurial journey, we've got it covered right here on the show. This is the weekend edition. I'm Sunanda Jayaseelan. In the hot seat tonight is Rapido. I'm also in conversation with the Consul General of India, Dubai. Aravind, thanks for joining us here on the Leaders of Tomorrow. It's been 6 years since you've launched your business, and it has been an interesting journey for you. We spoke to you a few years ago when you were, of course, just about in the early days of your entrepreneurial journey. What have some of the highlights really of Rapido's growth and rapid growth been like?
Sure. Thank you for having me here first. I think if you see Rapido, it's a pioneer in bike taxi segment, and we are the first to introduce this concept in the country in 2015. I think before us, people might have dreamt on. There is a four-wheeler ride sharing, there is a three-wheeler ride sharing, but why is not anyone building a two-wheeler ride sharing in a country which is dominated by a two-wheeler? So everyone used to think about it, but no one has actually made it possible. And I think we are really proud in terms of what we have achieved in the last six years. We are the largest bike taxi player right now, on the maybe a third largest ride sharing company. In the last 5 years, right now we do closer to 10 million transactions a month, and present in over 100 cities. I think that is a kind of a massive scale that we have seen, and we are also seeing right now. And cumulatively, in the last 5 years, especially, we have got more than 20 million customers who have downloaded our app, and more than 1.5 million captains, with whose lives are getting whose lifestyle is getting better because of working with Rapido.
When the pandemic hit, it could have really been the death knell really for your business, but you instead decided to take that and use it as an opportunity to innovate, launching several offerings, including delivery of essentials, the Rapido Local, Rapido Store, amongst others. Where really did the idea for all of those come about? Talk to us, and walk us through really that journey of innovation and what it meant for you.
Sure. I think as a business, every either every team member or every business leader has to understand what is their strength in that business. If you see Rapido's strength at that point of time to the need of an hour, we try to match these two things when the pandemic has hit us. One of our strength is the captains on the ground, the technology that we have built, which is agile enough to do changes at a very span of a couple of weeks time. I think these are two major strengths that we had, and need of an hour at the time is to deliver essentials, and to make sure the people who are not having jobs, how do you make sure that they earn something or the other from your platform? So we try to match these two things, and that's where we have expanded our offerings from just being a people ride sharing company to delivering essentials, right, from food, milk, grocery, or any kind of courier from one place to other. I think that's a massive change, definitely. But what we understood from our during that journey is, if your technology is something which can be which is your major factor for your growth, or which is your major factor for the change that you want to bring in, I think any kind of even a pandemic kind of situations will not make you to degrow, or might not be able to make sure that your business is completely impacted. And imagine couple of months of complete lockdown means people are not coming out. That means our ride sharing has gone to zero. That means at that time, but still we tried to make as much as revenue possible and as much earnings to the captains as possible, because ultimately in our two-sided marketplace, if my captains are happy, they will make sure that they make our customers are happy. I think one advice that I would give for anyone who is building their products is understand your strength, and try to double down on your strength as much as possible, and ultimately that becomes your moat. I think for us, the agility and the speed that we are able to change businesses, that we are able to add offerings, has become an advantageous, and that's the reason we are the most recovered compared to any other ride sharing in India, and we have recovered closer to 75%, which has not heard of either in India or even global, from a recovery point of view, for any ride sharing companies.
Any fundraising plans you can discuss on the show, Arvind? And also, 2021, for anyone who's looking at raising funds, has how you should and and how you can raise funds really become different? What can you tell them?
As either in your early days of your startup, or you're at a growth stage of startups, I always believe if you have a right business, when I say right business, a right business model, a right unit economics, I think fundraising will follow you. You should, even though, irrespective of how much you chase it, it will definitely follow you. So try to build strong fundamentals. I think sometimes, the numbers speaks a lot than the story that you sell to investors. You should focus on fundraising, but more on business to make the fundamentals stronger or grow the business. Then the funding will follow. I don't think 2021 will be any different from other years based on how it is going, based on how massive investments are happening. It's just that maybe there will be focus a bit more on fundamentals than earlier, because will the company, can it be disrupted with a situation like pandemic? Can the business be completely, go for a zero? So how do you plan for those kind of things? But I think, but fundraising scenario in terms of availability of capital, I don't see a lot of challenge in 2021 compared to any other years. But it's just a bit more focus on fundamentals, and unit economics will be a lot more compared to previous years.
Arvind, what future plans can you share with us? Bangalore and Hyderabad, from what I understand, are some of your largest markets. So essentially, are the tier one markets really big for you? How about tier two, tier three? What are you looking at doing to capture those markets as well? What can you tell us?
Yeah, sure. I think, see, the reality of why, even though we are in 100 cities, but still Bangalore and Hyderabad, or tier one cities, are our top cities. It's more to do with the kind of population in one city compared to a smaller population in the other tier two, tier three cities. I think, that is a fundamental difference, and the second major difference is the the education about ride sharing in a tier 1 city versus tier 2 city. A lot of people in tier 1 or metro cities know about what is a ride sharing and what are the benefits of ride sharing, because people might have used once, or maybe once or twice in the last 10 years, because of a four-wheeler ride sharing or three-wheeler ride sharing. But if you see the same thing with it, in a tier 2 tier 3 cities, it's still the ride sharing hasn't been penetrated before Rapido. So I think, you will see us, spreading awareness about ride sharing, spreading awareness about two-wheeler ride sharing a lot, in coming year, in this year, especially in tier 2 tier 3 cities, and we'll make sure that, bike taxi will be the preferable mode of ride sharing compared to any other thing, especially because of its affordability and its reliability nature that it brings in. And definitely we have, one of the huge focus for us also is growing. So we grew 100 times in the last 2 years, and we want to continue the same growth trajectory and try to grow by 10 times in the next 18 months, and make sure, that we are deeply penetrated into all the 100 cities that we are present, and try to, and one other new business that we also have started is also our Rapido Auto. So you can also start booking auto from Rapido app. We have expanded that into 25 cities right now, and we also have done close, or crossed 1 million transactions recently in our auto business. So we have a huge plans of expanding that into all the 100 cities that we are present in the course of this year.
All right, Arvind, we let you go at that. Thanks for your time here on the show. Out of time on that interview, I'm going to slip into a short break, a very special conversation on the other side with Dr. Aman Puri. He's the Consul General of India, Dubai. We're back in just a moment. Welcome back. You're with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow. Tonight on the weekend edition, I'm in conversation with the Consul General of India, Dubai, Dr. Aman Puri. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us here on the Leaders of Tomorrow weekend edition. I want to start by talking about the pandemic and what impact there has been, if any, on India UAE relationships. And, if you can really talk to us about now that the worst is behind us, how you really see the relationship between the two countries, the two regions changing, strengthening, and going forward.
UAE and India share a very strong civilizational and cultural relationship, which is several centuries old and is driven primarily by trade and a people to people connect, which is based on mutual trust and respect. And on this strong foundation, we witness the transformation of these ties into a comprehensive strategic partnership. Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi visited UAE in 2015 and in fact has visited twice after that. His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi and the Deputy Supreme Commander of the UAE Armed Forces, has also visited India in the last 5 years twice. So these reflect the very close brotherly ties between the two countries. During this pandemic, the two countries have collaborated in several aspects, and we have seen the relationship emerge even stronger. The UAE leadership has taken exceptionally good care of the 3.3 million strong Indian community living here in the UAE. The Indian frontline workers have worked tirelessly, shoulder to shoulder, with their Emirati brothers and sisters in handling this pandemic, and this contribution has been very well appreciated by the UAE leadership. The Vande Bharat mission, which was launched to support the repatriation of Indian nationals, could not have been a success without the active support and participation of the UAE governmental authorities and the government and leadership. So we've seen the relationship get even stronger during this time.
Speaking of the relationship, could we drill it down further and talk about what areas or sectors have really been driving this partnership?
Yes, in my assessment, the UAE-India relationship is currently at an inflection point. And in several areas, we see a huge untapped potential for collaboration. UAE as the gateway to the Gulf region, in fact, the larger Middle East and the North Africa region, can play an even greater role in increasing India's exports to the world. Also, both countries are committed in working together to ensure the investment flow of about 75 billion US dollars, which is going to be very critical for the transformation of infrastructure in India. And this capital infusion is also going to be helping India realize its vision of a $5 trillion economy.
Could you talk to us also about the importance of the India UAE food corridor, the importance of that, how that's also lending to bilateral relations, even as food security is becoming so much more crucial as a point of conversation?
Absolutely. Food security is very close to the heart of policymakers here in the UAE and in the Gulf generally. India, as a key exporter of cereals, pulses, spices, fresh fruits and vegetables, and agricultural produce in general, is a natural partner for UAE. Even during the
Sure.
pandemic, India has emerged as a reliable partner as we ensured uninterrupted supply of agricultural products into the UAE. The current level of trade in this sector is about 2 billion, which is expected to grow to upwards of 6 billion in the next 3 years or so. The UAE-India Joint Food Corridor project is expected to witness investments of close to 5 to 7 billion in the next 3 years, and is also expected to create employment for about 200,000 individuals in the farming sector in India. I think this much needed investment from the UAE in India in the food parks, in logistics, in the food chains would actually improve productivity, reduce costs, and minimize wastages. So this is going to create a win-win situation for both countries.
All right. I do want to talk about any advice that you may have for an entrepreneur who's watching today's interview about the specific benefits that Dubai offers to someone who's looking to set up shop. Or what would you like to tell them through this interview?
Well, Dubai is a very business-friendly place, a very vibrant
Mm.
economy, a very inviting place for people from more than 200 nationalities. I think one of the important things which one could keep in mind is when looking at Dubai is that one should not limit oneself to servicing just the UAE market. Actually, this can be a place where one could reach out to a very large catchment area, the Gulf region, the Middle East, and the North Africa region. So it's very important to look at the bigger picture and use Dubai as a springboard to become a global
Okay.
brand.
Okay. I do want to talk about Expo 2020. What can we really expect perhaps India then will bring to the table? What would you like to tell our viewers through this conversation?
Well, the Indian pavilion is expected to be one of the largest at the Expo 2020. It is also going to be one of the very few which is going to emerge as a permanent structure. And therefore, it would be continuing to showcase Indian innovation, its entrepreneurial spirit, and the cultural heritage. So we are expecting close to about 190 pavilions, but we are leaving
Okay.
no stone unturned to ensure that it is a must visit pavilion for all the millions of visitors who are expected to travel to Dubai for the Expo 2020. We are also going to be obviously talking about how India handled the COVID-19 pandemic, also took care of one-sixth of humanity, and ensured that we supported other countries in the fight against this pandemic, including through our very successful vaccine Maitri program. And we are absolutely certain that with the resilience of the people here and with the fact that it is a very attractive place for innovators, investors, entrepreneurs from different parts of the world. So it is an amazing ecosystem which allows you to actually grow your business and make it a global brand.
As we're finishing today's interview, let's talk about the Indian community in Dubai and really talk about perhaps the resilience which has been shown during these very tough times. And through this interview, if you'd like to, talk to them about what 2021 perhaps holds.
Yes, of course. So we have seen Dubai being a platform for a large number of Indian entrepreneurs who have grown their businesses. And today, many of those Indian owned businesses are household brands here in Dubai and in UAE. Brands such as the Lulu Supermarket, the Astor Hospitals, James Education, and the Landmark Group, to name a few. Of course, this is also an opportunity for some of the large Indian corporates like the Tatas, the Infosys, and the Wipros to showcase their strengths and to use this opportunity to offer, what India can kind of offer in terms of the services here. One small initiative which we started very recently, it is called the Uberization of educational infrastructure. So we are trying to
Okay.
see how the existing educational infrastructure here in Dubai and the other Emirates can be used to bring key stakeholders such as the entrepreneurs, the academic institutions, the trainers, and the blue collar workers on one platform to enable upskilling and reskilling for a post COVID 19 economy. We feel that this is a time when the blue collar workers and the other semi skilled and skilled workers would require to attain different skill sets to meet the new
Okay.
requirements in the economy. And that is something which I'm very happy that we recently saw the launch of a prototype, which was launched by the Minister of State for External Affairs, Shri V. Muralidharan, in January here in Dubai.
All right. Thank you so much for your time here on the show.
Thank you.
With that, it's a wrap. If you have any feedback for us, our contact details coming up as we speak. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.